Dreams podcast. This is a knitting podcast where I also like to talk about farmy stuff. Like I said, my name's Julia Mason. We live in Oregon, and I guess I'll jump into it. I have a lot to cover today. If you're a returning viewer, then thank you for coming back. If this is your first time, welcome. I have a lot of knitting to talk about this time. And I also have a bunch of stash enhancement that was a bit of a surprise to me, and I'm really excited about it. So that's spinning stuff, so maybe I'll leave that to the end in case you're not interested in spinning, and then you can skip that. So let's see. It is early-ish, not really that early. 7:10, I guess it's a little early in the morning. I'm not in my usual spot. I'm not even in my unusual spot. I'm behind a couch. I'm just trying to escape all the sleeping people. And this is where it happens to be this morning. So this weekend, a lot of my husband's relatives are in town, so we are kind of busy, and yeah, this is the only time I could find to podcast. So, and I definitely don't want to miss this week because I would never get caught up with all of the random things I have to show you. So anyhow, I will start out with finished objects, and as you know, if you've been watching my previous episodes, I have been working on this test knit sweater for Life is Cozy, and the design is called the Komorebi sweater. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, and it's all done finally. And it turned out all right. My gauge, I think, was not good because, as you can see, it's kind of like puffy. I don't know, you can't really see it right now, but when I wear it, I'll put it on. It's kind of a little bit baggy, and then the bottom edge is a little bit tight, and I mean, not tight like too tight for me, but like too tight for the fabric attaching to it above. So that's not my favorite thing, but oh well, it is comfortable and soft. The yarn that I used was Cascade Multis. It was a very poor yarn choice. I think that was a large part of my issue because there's design detail on the arm and down the front and on the turtleneck, and you cannot really tell, and the details on the outside or inside of the neck. So when you fold it over, you can see it. So yeah, I think part of the problem is that it's also just like a more stylish design than I would normally wear. It just doesn't seem like my personal style, so it was just a poor choice on my part for me. So as you can see, it's like the waist shaping, everything, it's like kind of too big for me. And that's because the needle size that it called for, I was already kind of delayed in starting, and I was worried about the time limit and everything, and I should have just used, you know, whatever bamboo needles I had to start with and ordered the correct needle size. And anyways, I should have started with the needle size that I needed at 3mm with my bamboo needles, because I had those, and then I could have ordered the correct size and switched over. But instead I didn't think of that, and I just used oh, Felicity painted my nails again. I started knitting with the closest size that I had. I should have gone, it was either go up 1/4 mm or go down 1/4 mm, and I went up, and I should have just either gone down. That, even if I had gone down a size, it might have even worked out better. But oh well, hindsight's 20/20. So anyways, it's very soft and very comfortable, and I actually washed and blocked it finally. And I don't know if this is a superwash thing. I haven't made sweaters, like human size, adult size sweaters, and so I washed it, and it was like stretching out to look like I don't know, Yo Gabba Gabba character, which is like a kid's show. But anyways, it was like stretching out crazy long, and the sleeves were like 7 feet wide, and the body of it was just like gaping huge, and I was like, oh no. And I tried laying it on the table on a towel and like squishing it back together, and it would not get smaller. So finally I was like, okay, I guess I will throw it in the dryer, because it is a superwash yarn. And I threw it in the dryer, and it took a long time. Well, I started it out really low, like gentle knits, and it wasn't getting dry, or it wasn't shrinking at all. So then I ended up slowly cranking it up all the way to what we normally dry our clothes at, and it shrunk back to a better size and was nice after that. So, and it also, the yarn's really, really soft, but it also pills a bit. I don't know if you can tell from that far away, but there's quite a bit of pilling going on. So I, after running it in the dryer, a lot of that was kind of gone. I don't know about gone. It just looked a little like smoother and nice. So I think it'll just have to be a drier sweater, because yeah, I'm wondering if maybe the superwash doesn't, it just stretches out too easily because it doesn't have the barbs on the wool anymore, or the scales, I mean. So I don't know. It was weird. If you have experience with this, because I've not knitted with wool for very long, yeah, it's the biggest article of clothing I've made. And like with my shawls, my one shawl, the Raina shawl that I did in superwash as well, it does that kind of too, where it stretches out, but that's exactly what I want from a shawl, so I never really thought about it before. So anyways, it's really warm and snuggly and cozy, so I have been wearing it a lot. And I think it looks better on camera than it does in person. But anyways, yeah, I will be wearing it a lot because it's very comfortable and warm. So that is that. The next finished object that I have today, I'm trying to think, is there anything else I was gonna say about this? I don't know. It took a while. I'm glad it's done. My next finished object is the, whoa, that's freaking out. The camera can't handle it. This is the crop top. Wow, how do I cope? Up close here. There you can see the colors. By Samantha Stadler, I think is how you say her name. And she lives in Arkansas. Last week I said something random. Anyways, this was a really fun, easy pattern to knit. And yeah, it was really enjoyable. I cast it on not long after I recorded my last episode, and I think it took me 4 or 5 days to do this, but I didn't have a lot of knitting time at the time. So anyways, yeah, and I've worn this, and then I washed it it stretched out a lot the first time I wore it. But I mean, I wore it overnight, so sleeping in it I'm sure didn't help. But yeah, so it stretched out quite a bit, so I washed it in the washer and ran it through the dryer too to try and shrink it back down. I think this lighting is horrible, I'm sorry. Anyway, I think I might try a couple modifications next time I knit it just to fit me better, because I'm kind of a weird shape right now. I've always had kind of a small rib cage, just bone structurally, and then I'm currently breastfeeding, so then I'm slightly bigger in that way than I normally am. So it's kind of awkward and hard to fit anything. So I might try a couple modifications next time, like maybe the stockinette panel at the top. Ooh, God, maybe I need to pull a curtain down. Use the stockinette panel at the top. I might extend that down about that much. Aren't my nails just so beautiful? So beautiful, oh my gosh. Anyways, down to here, and then I'll make the ribbing longer, and I might maybe make the ribbing, either knit it in a even smaller gauge, but I don't know that that's really gonna help that much because it's already knitted in 2.25, so either do that or make it maybe less stitches. And I'm thinking about maybe adding an elastic band underneath on the inside here. So I don't know, we'll see. I'll play with it, but it's very comfortable and very wearable either way. So yeah, and I really liked the design of it. Was really fun to knit and stayed interesting. So yeah, and this yarn is Life in the Long Grass. Oh golly. And it was really fun to knit. I still have some left over. I thought about making the top longer, but I was also torn about like, well, if I don't make it longer, I can make a second one with maybe just a contrasting color. So I don't know what I'm gonna do for sure. I'm definitely not gonna open this up again and knit on it anymore because I'm happy with it. But yeah, so that yarn was a gift from Jessica Ruth Knits. She has a podcast as well, and she was really kind and sent me this yarn and a bunch of project bags. So anyways, I'm very happy with that, and that is my second finished object of the 2 weeks. And yeah, last time I only really had a tiny bit of the neck on this to do, and it took an obscene amount of time because we just kept getting busy and the weather's been nice. So anyways, but then I've started some works in progress. I worked a little bit more on Felicitys Shawl, and I'm mid-row, which isn't the ideal way to show it off, but this is the Estonian shawl pattern, and obviously it is lace work, and it has, I mean, these are all the pattern repeats. That's what's going on up here. And it has these things called nups, which I had never worked with before this project, and it is a super fun project to work on. I've really enjoyed it. It's kind of like, I mean, it takes a lot of concentration because it's just a chart. It's there, you know, you have to follow the chart every row, and it changes every row. So that's fun and interesting. So I have to be looking at the chart a lot and then counting between each repeat every time. Otherwise, it's really easy to get screwed up and have to do it over again. And it's funny, there's this row of, I don't know if I can show you right here, there's this row where you knit on the wrong side, and so you leave a row of purl bumps on the right side. And I couldn't find in the, like, I felt like that wasn't right, even though it was. I just was like, this seems strange, isn't that gonna look weird? But because of the flow of the pattern, it's actually going to kind of do this shape, which I just imagined it as like a row of purl bumps, and I thought that would look really strange. But anyways, I was looking at other people's project pictures trying to figure out what that was gonna look like and if I was doing that correctly, and I couldn't find it in almost all of the pictures. And that was because there's two different, like, you can make it two different sizes. You could make it the size that it is now, I think, and bind off, or like do the last little edging and bind off, or you can do what I'm gonna do, which is, you know, make the last section. And so in a lot of the pictures, people hadn't done that last section, so they hadn't done this purl bump row, and so I was so confused because I was like, I don't see it anywhere. And then I finally found someone who had done the way I'm going to do it, and I was like, oh, I see it, it's there. I'm not crazy, and this is what I'm supposed to do. And I had already like ribbed back the row, and then I was like, oh, that was dumb. So then I reknitted it, and it wasn't a big deal, but it was just kind of funny to me. And I've only done like 3 or 4 rows since then, and I kept like already just kept being like, oh, last time I worked on this like a month and a half ago, I made a mistake, and now I have to kind of reconfigure it and fix it. So anyways, it's turning out nicely. I'm excited for when it is finished and I have better lighting to show you, and I can actually block it and open up this pattern because it's going to look awesome. But yeah, I really love working on lace work when I have the concentration and privacy, I guess, because yeah, it takes a lot of concentration for me anyways to follow a chart and not screw it up. But it's kind of like a puzzle, and I really like that. It's my kind of puzzle. So, and this is in, oh good lord, this lighting is the worst. You see that? Bumpy Crafts bag, and it's super adorable. I love this bag. It's just so cute, and I love the bright yellow, and then this like minty green. zipper, and it's just an adorable bag, and I love it. And I actually won this bag and this yarn in a giveaway when I first started my podcast, I think. And I've been, yeah, just loving them. And I'm excited to work on that some more this coming couple weeks. The other thing that I've worked on quite a lot is this tube. I think, was it this time around that we went to the zoo? I think it was since my last podcast that we went to the zoo with Felicity, and I walked around and knitted on this some, and then I had a dentist appointment and finally got the giant hole in my tooth fixed. That was exciting. So when I was sitting in the chair in like stress, anxiety, pain, they let me knit. I mean, it's not like they're gonna say you can't, but anyways, so I was just sitting there like, and knitting in my lap. It actually helped to have something to focus on, because it was quite a painful tooth to have fixed, because the tooth's not dead, the nerve still works, but the damage, because I had a giant filling come out and part of my actual tooth crack out, was really, really close to the nerve. So he was like digging around and using that drill that's like the really grindy, low, it was horrible. So anyways, it was very unpleasant, and this helped a bit, and I got quite a lot done on it. And I guess the last little bit that I did was just, I took Felicity and Daisy for a walk in the woods and carried Daisy, and Felicity actually walked. Normally she goes in the stroller and we stay on the road, but she insisted that she wanted to walk, which was fine, and I'm like, are you really gonna walk, or are you just gonna want me to carry you in a little while? She did really good. We walked all the way, not that this means anything to you, but to the creek, which is kind of a long distance into the woods. Yeah, I was pretty impressed that she walked all the way out there. That was a really long trek. And then when we got turned around to come home, all of a sudden she's like, "Mommy, carry me, Mommy, carry me." And I was like, "No, you have to walk." And that lasted for like 5 minutes, and then finally I broke down and I was like, okay, fine. So I took Daisy off and set her in the grass and put Felicity on my back, and then carried Daisy because she's lighter. And I was super tired by the time I got home, because the both of them are pretty heavy together. And I didn't get to knit anymore on the way home. But yeah, I was really proud of her for walking that far, and it was fun to show her the like same forest that I grew up walking in, and even though it's totally different now after like logging and then growing back, which is crazy because I don't feel that old. But and I'm really not very old. But anyways, yeah, that was fun. Sorry, I got on a tangent there. Yeah, those are those socks. Well, yeah, I don't know how many socks it's gonna be. So I still have this cake, and I can't decide. It's quite a lot of yarn still. I don't know. I think maybe this is slightly heavier than this. So I don't know if I want to just finish the ball and then see how many socks I can get out of it. It's definitely not going to work for like knee highs or something, because this is going to be way too small for my calves. It's pretty tight, I think. I haven't actually tried it on a foot, so I don't know. But yeah, I think it'll be quite a snug pair of socks. So anyway, I'm not sure what the plan is there. I'm just kind of going with it, doing something mindless for, and I keep this in the car, and so no matter where I go, if I, you know, finish my other project that I bring or whatever, or if I forget, then I have something. So that is my go-to thing. And Wash is sitting here, but he's not joining the party. He's just hanging out with me, being my buddy. He's all into getting outside now, and he's an inside-only kitty. Okay, my last project is my Ramona cardigan, and I feel like I'm blowing through this. It's only 19, 20 minutes in. Oops. So this cardigan I am, oh, and the sock was paint box yarn, which is a commercial yarn, and to be honest, I can't say that I'm in love with it. It's a little bit rough on the hands, and then the other paint box skein that I've used kind of felted really quickly, and it's, I mean, it, like in my shoe, just kind of like pilled and felted and feels like it's just gonna wear out. And then the other yarn for the shawl is Terry Dow knitted, my brain is not awake yet, dyed that yarn, and I think her Facebook page is The Ungrateful Wench. So anyways, if you liked that yarn, you can find her there. So this is my Ramona cardigan, and this gauge of yarn is knitting up extremely fast. So yeah, I think I did this much yesterday, just from here on down. And before that, I had taken several days because I was just doing a little bit at a time. But I had a good chunk of time to knit yesterday, so like all the way to the drive to Vancouver, and then, which is about an hour away, and then sitting with family, and I knitted. So yeah, and I really like this fake seam detail that it has going on here, and I'm working on the waist decreasing right now. And this yarn, it's interesting, it's kind of a little bit, I mean, it's definitely more rough than this. This is extremely soft. I don't even understand how this can be so soft. It's kind of a little bit rough on my neck or whatever. Not really rough though. Like I can feel that it's got some hairs in it, but to the hand it's very, very soft, especially the like fully knitted fabric versus the yarn. And it's got this kind of halo. And this is I think it's Highland wool and alpaca. And I just caked up this ball yesterday, and it's getting pretty small, so I need to remember to do another one before we go today. So yeah, this wool is kind of nice. I've never worked with singles before, and it's really fun to work with, and it's knitting up really fast, and I'm enjoying it. The only thing I don't love is that it has a lot of hairs, and I don't know like if that's from the alpaca. I know llamas have that guard hair that you have to dehair before you spin, or you can't, I mean, I suppose you could spin it with it, but then it wouldn't be very soft. And so anyways, I know llamas have that, but I didn't know if alpacas did. So I'm wondering if that's what this is about. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's fine, I guess. I think it just, the yarn, I think without that would be very soft, but because of those little hairs, you can kind of feel a little scratchiness to it, because, you know, yarn's only as soft as its roughest component. So, anyway, yeah, and but it also makes me, like, want to obsessively pick at it, which I think makes it worse, because then I don't have, like, the hair flying around. I just have a pokey end sticking out because I broke it or whatever. But anyways, it's fine. I just, that's the one complaint I have about this yarn. Let me find the ball band real fast, because I don't remember the name of it. Ugh, don't look at my sweatpants. Here we go. Ugh. This is the ball band. Valley Yarns, Berkshire. And it says 85% wool and 15% alpaca. And the colorway, Colonial Blue. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this cardigan. Everyone's like, oh, what you making? And I'm like, a cardigan. And they're like, oh, just in time for summer. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And it's a really heavy, like it's almost gonna be like a little coat thing because it's quite heavy. But almost spilled my coffee. But I'm still excited about it for some reason. Like, I don't know if it's wishful thinking or what. Like, I've never felt like I wanted it to stay cold outside ever. I'm always looking forward to summertime. And I am in a lot of ways, but I feel a little bit sad because I feel like I can't knit as much because I have so many other things I want to do when the weather's nice. But more importantly, I can't wear my knitted things, which is sad. Except for this, I mean, unless it gets very hot, this is still really comfortable and breathable. So yeah, I don't know, it's like, even if it's really nice outside, I can knit things that I'll wear in the wintertime. It's still fun. So anyways, and it'll get cold sometimes, so, you know, wear it at night or whatever. And we'll probably have some cold weather before, if I get done soon, we'll probably have some cold weather before I can't wear it anymore. So that was the Ramona cardigan. I think the designer's company name is the Brown Stitch, and I really like, yeah, she has very simple designs. This is like the most, I don't know, zen knitting project ever. It's just very intuitive, logical, like you do these things and you get a raglan cardigan, and it's easy and smart, and yeah, I like that. It's very just plain, simple. I've made a couple mistakes, actually, ironically enough. On the raglan, you're supposed to, well, anyways, I just did my decrease or my increase in the wrong spot twice and had to like open my knitting up and fix it and then re-knit it so that I didn't have to rip all the way back. But I didn't want to leave that like ugly, you know, jogged off decrease that really shows up in such a big yarn. So anyways, that's the only thing that I've had to fix. Otherwise, it's turning out really nicely, and I'm hoping I picked the right size. I think I did. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not very good at that. Based on my measurements, I think I did. But, yeah, like I said, I'm kind of a weird shape right now, so I don't know. Yeah, so that is it for works in progress, I think, and finished objects, and... Oh, sorry, talking fast. The last thing I have to show you is stash enhancement, and this is fiber. And my husband actually helped a friend of ours castrate their pigs. So yeah, he's good at that. But yeah, I don't love castration. It's not my favorite thing in the world. I mean, yeah. Anyways, especially he does the style where you cut the animal to castrate, and I mean, pigs, that's the only option. It's just the way they're built. You can't band them. Goats and sheep, you can either use a rubber band or you can cut them open. And neither option's super great. Like, it isn't going to be fun for the animal either way. That's just a fact. You know, people... will say like, oh, well, I banned because cutting is so inhumane, and I just want to like smack them because I'm like, are you kidding me? Banding's not great either. I mean, they've done research and, you know, scientific studies on this, so like we have factual evidence that shows how it impacts, you know, either way you go, how it impacts the animal. And cutting is actually more painful initially, but the pain doesn't last as long, and it doesn't stress them out as much, and doesn't hurt their growth rates as much. So when people are all critical because you choose to cut for castration versus banding, I'm like, you don't really know what you're talking about, because banding, and they're like, oh, my little goats are so dramatic when you band them, ha ha ha, and I'm like, it's not really nice to laugh at an animal who's in pain. And banding takes like 2.5 hours before the pain, you know, stops because the nerves die. And I'm just like, I don't know, that's just distasteful to me. But anyways, so yeah, sorry, that was a weird tangent. So he was helping castrate pigs, and if you're curious why we castrate, because little goats and sheep become fertile really, really young, and if you don't do that, you have to separate all your rams and bucks from your ewe lambs really, really young, and that can be kind of a management issue. So that's one reason. Another reason is that male animals can kind of taste gross depending on how old they are when you butcher them. So those are two reasons. Also behaviorally, if, you know, it's not as much of a problem for butchering animals, but because you don't let them get old enough to get aggressive, but intact animals are very aggressive usually, or often. They're not always. Someone will always say, oh, I love my ram, he's my best friend, and I'm like, that's a really bad idea because rams can kill you. But anyways, sorry. What am I talking about? Oh, so he was castrating our friends' pigs for them, and she was really grateful, and she sent us home with some steelhead because her husband's a fisherman, and she also sent me home with a bunch of fibery things from her mother, who I didn't catch whether she just got out of fiber or if she had passed away, but either way I'm very grateful for her sharing this with me. So yeah, anyways, I don't know what to do with all of it because I'm not very experienced at spinning at all, so I don't exactly know how to use like intact locks. But anyways, I'll just start grabbing things randomly out of the bag because there's no order to it. So first I have some Pygora, 2 ounces, and yeah, that's really beautiful. I've never spun Pygora before, so I've never spun most fibers, so I've only really done like Shetland and whatever roving this is that I have actually just sitting right here. I don't know what this is, but anyways, and we have a Romney Angora hand-dyed bat, and I don't know whether or not this is Angora goat. I assume it's Angora goat because it doesn't look like it has Angora rabbit. That is a lot more flat, I don't know, like halo-y and fine. So I'm assuming goat. That will be really fun to spin. I'm really excited to spin that. There's just so much in here, I have to keep moving. I don't know what this yarn is, fiber-wise, but it's definitely a natural fiber. I mean, some sort of wool. Yeah, and that's really, I think will look really pretty. I don't know, I think there's 2 of these. I'll have to weigh them and try and figure out how big this will turn out knitted and find a project for them. They smell a little like older person. Now I was expecting sheep, but it doesn't smell like sheep. But anyways, yeah, so I don't know what fiber that is, but I think I could make something neat out of it anyways. And let's just keep rolling. This is Border Leicester dyed locks. And I really have no idea what to do with some of these things. Like, this is quite, I mean, Border Leicester's I think supposed to be one of the easier things to spin because it's very long staple length. Like if this was my sheep's wool, see, that's when you can finally pull it apart. But that's a really long staple. So anyways, it's supposed to be very easy to spin because of that, but it's not super soft on the hands. It's quite a coarse, thick, I mean, each individual strand is quite thick, so if you can see that. So yeah, anyways, I don't really know what to do with that. I just don't have experience. So if you are a more experienced spinner and you have advice, that'd be cool, because I don't know what to do with it. But, and I mean, some of these things I might even, like the things that I just, like more art yarn type things, I might just pass on to somebody else who can use them, because I don't really know what to do with them. And somebody should use them. And this is not labeled, but it's a very fine looking fiber. It almost looks like, well, it's several bags inside of this bag, so I don't really know. This almost well, I don't know. I'm not gonna guess. Yeah, maybe that's Pygora again. I don't know. I can't tell. Ooh. So there's a few bags of that creamy color stuff in here. Oh dear. And there's also a really large, well, large for a goat, fleece in here that smells like a buck. Here. This is a mohair Pygora, which I'm assuming, yeah, I don't know. But it's an intact fleece, I think. What does it say? Oh, I see. Okay, so it says, does it say 1 pound? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, it's a good size. And that smells like a goat. And it's pretty clean considering. It has a little bit of vegetable matter, but I think it wouldn't take too much to get it clean. Hello, friend. Say hello to the people. Oh, he's gonna be all over this. He's been wanting me to get all this stuff out. So yeah, I don't know what to do with goat fiber. I've never used it, so that'll be interesting. This is really exciting. Sorry for the crinkliness. Oh, there's a big raven out there. This is Shetland, which I really enjoy Shetland. It's fun for spinning and beautiful. And it actually had a drop spindle in it, and it's so pretty. The drop spindles that I have I bought when I was in 4-H, so I was young. And they're just, you know, kind of the cheapest thing you can get at the fiber festival, just to kind of get you going. And this is a little bit nicer than that. I don't really know anything else about it other than this is slightly nicer than the one I have. But yeah, it's really nice for me, and she already had spun a bunch of wool, and there's a little bit left. So yeah, I wish I had a ton more of this because this is just really pretty fiber, and I would love to make something out of this. This is what it looks like. I think this is 2 different animals fiber mixed together. It says Lunar Eclipse and Tess, which I assume are the names of sheep, because this is a small farm in our local area. Keep moving. So this is something that dyed Romney Locks. So I assume that I should card this, but because it's locks, it just makes me wonder, like, are you supposed to leave it as, like, I know you can spin a lock into wool so that it like sticks off, but I think that looks really weird. But is it like a cardinal sin for me to card this and turn it into a bat to spin? I don't know. I guess I can do whatever I want, but yeah, so this is like, whoa. Yeah, very interesting. It says Burgundy Romney, and it's not quite as soft as some of the other Romney that they have in here. So that's that. One more thing. There's a few more. I promise. Not going to be too much longer. I do not know what this is. There's some needles. This is a really soft fiber. I have no idea what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I suppose it could be llama. It kind of looks like it has, no, I don't know. Anyways, it's very soft. And I don't know how much is in here. Yeah, good portion. Yeah, anyways, so one more thing to do, spin. A mystery bat. Gray, blue, purple. And I feel like maybe this has, yeah, synthetic fibers in there. So that's pretty sparkly, if you can see that. So I don't know what they are because it's a mystery. So this I think will be really fun to spin because it's all completely prepared for me, and I won't have to do anything to it. So yeah, I think that'll be fun to spin. There's some yarn in here that I really like the look of how she spun it. I actually have a tendency to spin everything like really, really fine and fairly uniform. So I'm not very good at the like fun yarn. Same thing, more Pagora. So probably use those together. Ooh, next thing, more mystery bat. It's the same style. And peach Angora roving, merino and Angora. And like I said, I believe this is Angora goat they're talking about. Ooh, it does not look quite that shiny and crazy in person. And I felt this earlier, and it's quite soft. I'm not a huge peach person, but it'll be interesting to see what that looks like as yarn. This is very bright red. I'm definitely not a super red person, but I, should expand my palette. I say as I, anyways. This is Border Leicester dyed locks as well. And this is one of those things I really don't know what to do with, because it just has these really neat intact locks, but that's not really something I'm into for yarn, like leaving a lock intact. But I don't know, I'm sure it's somebody's cup of tea, so if you're really into this kind of thing, let me know. Maybe I can send some to you. I just haven't expanded my spinning palette that far yet. And there are more things. Almost done. More mystery bat, more locks. Oh. Okay, we have a couple more. Oh yeah, so I don't know what this is. This is mohair locks. More Border Leicester. Like purpley, blackish locks. Kitty, what are you doing? Same thing here. Oh, get out of there, buddy. Oh boy, he smells all the good smells. Making this impossible. This thing I'm excited about. What is this? Merino alpaca roving. This is going to be really fun to spin and really fun to wear. Yeah, it's pretty comfortable. It's not like this, but it's very nice. I think it'll be really nice once it's all finished. So I'm looking forward to spinning this one quite a bit. And it's also already like pre-drafted into this little, yeah, it's gonna take no time at all to spin. So, cool beans, that's neat. I think there's like 2 more things in there, but Wash is laying on the bag. You're a brat. Oh, you're so naughty. He's attacking me. Ow, ow! Good Lord. This is also very exciting. This is a completed yarn. And I don't know if this was that mystery bat or what this is. I don't know. It looks a little bit like it has some synthetic fibers in it. It definitely has a wool content as well. And it's just really pretty. I really like the way it looks. I don't know what to make. So if you have any suggestions of a pattern that works well with a big rustic yarn like this, definitely leave me a comment, because I would love to knit with this, but I have no idea what to turn it into. And I can't believe this. She was selling this for $10. Like, that's so cheap. I mean, this is a pretty heavy skein of yarn, and it's beautiful, and it's hand spun. I'm like, lady, you were underselling yourself. And apparently she wasn't able to sell it, which makes me just sad for the state of the world that people don't appreciate awesome handicrafts and people's skill. So anyways, I would love to make something out of this because I think it's beautiful. So if you have any ideas, let me know. I need to know. And I really need to learn to ply yarn better. I mean, I've done it on a really small scale, but I feel very intimidated by the prospect of plying entire bobbins, which is silly because it's just, it shouldn't be hard. I don't know why it intimidates me so much. So, hey, oh, you're bad. You're being naughty. Go away. Oh, I had this on my arm. Knitting needles. These are, I don't know what they are, but they feel quite nice, and the tips are actually fairly pointed. Nicholas's grandmother is pretty much blind, and she's in her 90s, and we're going to be visiting them today. And his mom asked me to bring her some knitting supplies because she's going to try and knit. And yeah, so I'm going to probably bring a lot of different things for her to try and see what she likes. I'm thinking circular needles would be best so that she can't misplace a needle because she can't see very well. There's a few more things in here I'll show you quick. This is like unicorn style dyeing. What is this? Romney locks again. Crazy bright. That's a fun one. Border Leicester dyed locks, and more Border Leicester dyed locks that are blue. So yeah, I don't know what to do with all these things. There's also some interesting additional things. I don't know what these are for exactly. I suppose you could spin them into your fiber if you wanted a shiny stellina thing, but there's also some different threads and things, so I don't know what that, if that's for lace making or what that's for. And okay, that's about it. There's a couple, these might be good. These might be good ones for Grandma. Might be a good size. She wants to make dishcloths, I believe. So anyways, those. And learning the continental style of knitting. Woo. And which is my preferred style of knitting. And sheep to slippers. So yeah, I have not watched these yet, so that'll be interesting. Actually, this reminds me, I kind of was thinking recently about how I would like to teach more people to knit, because I think it's an awesome pastime, and I just want more people to do it. I think it's cool. I think it should become more of a thing. I mean, it's already a pretty big thing, but when you just, you know, walk out into the community, there's quite a few people who it's just like very foreign to them that people knit still. There's fiber everywhere. So yeah, I would really love to share the craft with more people and get more people involved. And I know there's a lot of people out there who would love to learn and just don't have anyone to teach them. And they're intimidated by trying to learn on YouTube, even though that's totally a thing. You can learn on YouTube. But I think a lot of people just really want that feedback of having someone there to teach them. I just kind of would like to do a class. I plan on doing a paid for class, but not like crazy expensive. I think I'll probably do like, I don't know, it depends on how much I can get materials for, but I was thinking like $15 for the first class or something, and then maybe $10 for follow-up classes, and then have, I don't know how many people I could teach at once, maybe like 5? I don't know if that's realistic. I don't know, because that's a lot of people to help. But I think I taught my niece and nephews at Christmas time, and yeah, I don't know, it didn't take very long. They caught on really fast. So anyways, so I put a post on our local like homesteaders chat group, and I only put it on the homesteaders chat and homesteaders classified, and it's the local group, and already had a lot of people say that's something they want to do, like 30 or more people. So I figure if I posted it in more places, there may even be other people, which that's already kind of overwhelming. Like, I put it out there like, hey, would anybody be interested in knitting class? And a lot of people are like, yes, do it. And I'm like, like that became real all of a sudden. So I would really like to organize that and get that started, but I will need to find a place to do it, and have Nicholas be available to watch the girls. And yeah, I am a little intimidated now that I've put myself out there, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. I really just want to share the craft with people, and yeah, I just need to sort it out, kind of like, yeah. I would like to make it kind of standardized as far as like everybody gets a similar needle size and gauge of yarn, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I thought about purchasing more of those bamboo needles that I have that I don't super enjoy working with them, but I'm a fast knitter, so they're too slow for me. So maybe they would be good for beginners. But the problem with doing that is when you purchase that set, you get the like from size 2mm all the way up to size 10. And a lot of the sizes in the middle to large side would be good, but then you would have the waste of the really small needles that no one probably would want to work with. So anyways, and the reason I would like to do it kind of like that is I would like to be able to give people a set of needles and like 50 grams of yarn to start with to take home to practice. So, you know, it would need to be pretty cheap for me to give them that and only charge $15 or whatever. So I'm just talking randomly now. Yeah, so that's something I've been thinking about doing. Just got to put it out there until somebody forces me to do it, right? I am thinking because of the time of the year that it is, maybe we can meet in a park or something, and yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be fun, but I'm a little intimidated. I don't know how many people realistically I can teach at once. I've only ever taught like 1 or 2 people at a time. So yeah, maybe it would be good for me to watch this and just see how somebody else teaches and get some, I don't know, I need to practice a little bit. I need to find a few friends that I can teach just to make sure that I'm not crazy for thinking that I can teach people. But anyways, that's what's been up. I also have been watching more podcasts again recently. I kind of took a little break from podcasts because I felt like I was thinking about knitting all the time. It's like, I feel like my brain has been invaded. But I have been watching them again and really enjoying them. And I've been watching the Happy Knitting podcast, and she is also Julia, and she's just crazy good. I mean, she knits so fast. It's beyond, like, crazy to me. I don't understand how it's possible. Like, I've never seen her actually knit, but she does a weekly podcast and she gets so much done. It's like, what? How is this possible? So, and I don't believe she has a lot of time to knit. She works a lot, so I don't understand it. It's like magic. And then who else have I been watching? I've been catching up a little bit on the Basic Stitch podcast, and I think I watched somebody else. Oh, well, and like Dunkelgren, and she has a really, really cool video about making a wool wash out of ivy leaves, and I'm like, really want to try it now. Unfortunately, our goats have eaten all of our ivy up to like above my head almost, so I don't know if our ivy is still alive actually because of the goats, so I need to check it out and see, because I really want to try that. And I think that's all that I've been watching. I think there was somebody else, but I can't remember who it was now, but I've been really enjoying that, and so you should check them out. And thank you guys so much for watching. I actually did finally change my Ravelry name. Dandelion Dreams was taken, and which in hindsight was like, duh, no wonder it wouldn't work. And the person who has it doesn't use their account and hasn't logged on in years, but I have no way of getting a hold of them to say, give me your account name. But so it is Dandelion's Dream currently, and so if you want to find me on Ravelry, you can look me up as Dandelion's Dream. And yeah, add me as a friend. I'd love to have more Ravelry friends and see what everyone else is up to in knitting. And I'm also on Instagram as Dandelion Dreams Podcast, and on Facebook as Dandelion Dreams Knits. And yeah, so find me places and be my friend, and yeah, just send me a message, whatever, say hi. And I will talk at you in a couple weeks. Thanks guys, bye.